Chicago with the lead. Batista with the catch. Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life.
Hand down, man down.
Yeah, I can see how disrespectful he's being right there.
No, I went to Temecula and brought you some dirt.
Yeah, that's a technical.
Mama, there goes that man.
Welcome back to the Bounce. Happy Thursday. Kev here with you with Keebler and James. Keebler, let's start with you. How are you on this wonderful evening?
I'm doing good. Maybe the fans will notice, maybe they won't, but I have a new living arrangement, as you can see in the back. So that's been fun, getting to live with my best friend from college. So outside of that, just waiting to hear back from a job interview, but things are looking good.
Rooting for you on that. Hope you get that. Congrats on the move, by the way. Always always fun. Sounds like you got a good situation too. Nothing's more interesting than living with strangers.
Yeah.
James, you learned that one in college, yeah. James, what about you, sir? You got some big weekend plans, I do believe, but how's your week going so far?
My week it's good. It's been busy. Like we talked about last night on Han Shot First. It's been a fucking weirdly busy week, and I've been sick, which has not helped things, but otherwise good. I am going to the MVC tournament this weekend. Started tonight, so we're going to do a little preview on that. Leaving tomorrow at 7 a.m., so going to have a fun weekend ahead of me.
Oh, I know. It's going to be great. You actually had to decline the invitation to Nate's podcast on Saturday morning. That's right.
I did. It's too much. Just, I had to turn down that racing one. I'm such an expert on NASCAR and all things cars and vroom vrooms and fast, so I know they turn left, which is good. If you turn right, usually bad. So sorry, Nate. Sorry, bud.
If you turn right, you're going right into a wall.
Yep. Or into the stands.
If you turn right, you're probably Nate playing the game on PlayStation 2, or I don't know if they let you do that in the modern gens, but he used to be the guy to just take every other car off the track and then go ahead and finish the race and win. So yeah, if you're turning right, you're either on a Grand Prix style or you're just Nate. But shouts out to our boy David Westergreen, who right this second is actually driving the Bite Size Sports number 9 in the Oscar race series. Go check that out when you're done here. It's over on 3 Wide TV on YouTube. So shout out to David. Shout out to the whole Lakeshore crew. Shout out to Vince as well, one of the other drivers on our team. So good luck to everybody out there tonight. And, I'm a little out of order, guys, but I want to start with a particular game because it's going to tip off here in about 40 minutes. It's getting a lot of hype, rightfully so, I would imagine. Boston versus Denver. Some are touting it an NBA Finals preview. We know that James is at least locked in on half that preview. We know Keebler hates at least half that preview. So we'll start with you, James. What are your thoughts on this matchup tonight, Celtics versus Nuggets?
Very possible, like they said, NBA Finals preview. You've got last year's champions versus the team that is just steamrolling through the regular season right now, but every question mark is when they get to the postseason, are they going to fall apart again? Very fun game in Denver. Give me the Nugs. Boston favored. Give me the Nugs. It's always the Nugs. Oh, we're going to pause. We're going to pause for station identification because I know Nate's here. I've been waiting for this, even though it's been only 4 minutes. I talked about this in pre-show. Sorry, Keebs, you weren't here for this. Nate, 1, your guys are keeping Mike Woodson in a dumb move. 2, the number 11 recruit, Liam McNeely, decommitted from IU today, released from his letter of intent. He was signed. He is leaving. They now have 0 recruits in their 2024 class. 2 seniors and probably losing somebody to the draft. So nice job, IU. Nice job. Nice job, Nate's team. All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yep.
Give me the Nugs over the Celtics tonight.
Just Nate's team, by the way. Definitely no one else on this program that
just Nate's team.
Lifelong Hoosiers fan. So, Nate, that is your shame and your shame alone, sir. Keebler, what about you? Boston, Denver. Who you got tonight?
I don't think this is going to be as close as people are making it seem. I'm going to go Denver, and I'm going to go by double digits. I might even sprinkle the Nuggets -9.5. Boston has to adjust to the altitude of Denver. Denver's a very talented team who's already used to it. The Celtics, I think, are a fraudulent team in the East. More of regular season merchants. I'm going to go Denver by 10.
Denver by 10. You know, I might not be sold completely on the margin of victory, but I'm with you, fellas. I'm locked in on Denver's going to win this one. They're taking this one down. Now, to pivot while staying kind of on this topic now, Keebs, I kind of know how you're going to answer, but any chance that this is a final preview for you?
No, absolutely not. I don't know. From what I'm seeing from the Pacers, I might have to retract my Pacers have a chance at the conference finals.
Dude, me too.
Oh, man, they did just take the lead, Keebs, for you.
What happened? They took the lead?
Just took the lead. They are up.
Is it
now they're down one. I have 103, 102. Yeah. Mine just updated, so they're down.
Okay, I do have Pacers money line tonight against the Timberwolves without Cat.
You have them, Mavs are up, which is good for you,
and then Pistons also.
Yep.
But as I was going to say, yeah, no bias or anything. I don't think it's going to be the finals preview that I think. I think the Heat can easily upset them. If they click at the right time, which they are. I think the Knicks stack up very well, especially with their bench. And then starting wise, fully healthy, I think that we can compete with them too. Is it the most likely team to come out of the East? Sure. But I don't know. If they make it out, I think it's just going to be another 2022 kind of thing where the Nuggets just handle them.
Yep.
Yeah, I am not 100% sold on this being a finals matchup either. I'm not sold that either one of these teams will be there. It's hard for me to pick against Denver. We still got this in here for you, James. Don't worry. But as you guys mentioned, and as is listed on the run of show, Miami is heating up a little bit. So
he's heating up.
I don't know that this will be that final preview. I agree with that take, Keela. It's sort of the easy pick right now. Boston's got that great looking record sitting there at the top of the Eastern Conference standings. Then you've got, of course, your defending Denver Nuggets. So I can see how we're getting there, but no. That'd be way too easy.
Press X to doubt. Kev's pressing X to doubt.
Without a doubt. And since it was mentioned, why not just stick with Miami? So the Heat are heating up. James confirmed that they're at least 8-2 in their last 10. Recent graphic I saw showed 11-3 in their last 14. So once again, Miami getting great at the right time. Keebler, I'm going to kick this one to you. You kind of touched on them already. What are your thoughts on Miami? Do you think they're a legitimate threat right now in the East, or is this just a solid regular season run they're going on?
I think it leans more on a regular season route. Come playoff time, I don't necessarily think that they have the right defense, especially at the guard position, to put up with some of these top teams in the East. Being Terry Rozier, Hero, Duncan Robinson. Yeah. Those three guys can't guard a traffic cone if you ask them to.
Oh, come on, Duncan Robinson. Do not offend the traffic cone, please.
I was going to say, Duncan Robinson, I thought.
Yeah. Please do not offend that traffic cone.
So you're really going to have to rely on Jimmy to guard like that best player. And if it's a team, I'll keep my bias aside. If it's a team like the Celtics, you're going to have to put Jimmy on Tatum, but then you also have to worry about Jaylen Brown going off. You got to worry about Drew Holiday possibly going off at center. Bam can put a body on Porzingis, but Porzingis is still 7'3" and like very good down low, and can also stretch you on the perimeter pretty well. So I think it's a good regular season run. I think they'll make the second round probably, but that's probably the farthest I see them going.
That's tough to argue with that, James. Are you going to argue with Keebler on this one, or are you in the same boat?
Press X to doubt. Press X to doubt. the Heat are going to win games based on their defense. Keeps is right. They're going to struggle guarding guards. Like it's going to be a problem. But since January 31st, Miami has held opponents to 106.2 points per game per 100 possessions, which is the second best mark in the league. He's not wrong. Like the dudes he named, Rozier, not a defender. Duncan Robinson, please don't even try to guard the traffic cone. Hero, obviously. But they still got Jimmy. They still got Bam. They still got one of the best coaches in the league. Like I'm not doubting them to do anything. Like these dudes could turn around and make the finals again, just by pure Eric Spoelstra magic. They're one game back from home court behind the Magic. They're half game back of the Knicks. The Knicks injuries are starting to fuck the Knicks up really bad, which is no good.
Coming back soon, though.
Yeah, well, you avoided a good one too with Jalen, his knee last week. That I thought that was going to be way worse than it was. So thank God. I hate that kind of shit. I don't know if the Heat will finish in the top 4, but they look firmly to me like they're going to finish top 6. And then after that, who fucking knows, man? I won't doubt them after what they did last year because I'd argue last year's team was worse.
Yeah, it'd be hard to pick against him in I don't know, it depends on the matchup, but it's going to be hard to completely write them off in a 7-game series just because of the types of players that they have and Eric Spoelstra as well. So, I am not ready to say, oh, wow, the Heat are the new top contender in the East whatsoever. We're going to talk about another team that I think is poised to cement their surprise home court advantage in the East. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But I think Miami is putting themselves in a great position right now. But I am also going to press X to doubt on this being a title run. We're off, guys. I gave you my theory. They're the San Francisco Giants of the NBA for this decade. So it's every other year. This year, Miami's going to get hot, and they're actually going to disappoint us in the playoffs. Look out. That's what's coming. And while we are speaking on disappointments, and my apologies, all due respect, okay, to the person we are about to discuss. But, gentlemen, Ben Simmons has been shut down once again. And I have a fun little stat for you guys. The last 3 seasons of Ben Simmons' career, 57 games played, 189 missed, going in order from 2022 up until the last season. He has played 0, then 42, and now 15 games. And unless that's a typo, that looks like $106 million made over those 57 games.
Sounds right.
I feel like that should be a typo. There's no, yep. Okay.
It's not a typo.
Yeah.
Be, but not, yeah.
Certainly not a typo, gentlemen. So, Keebs, I'll start with you. Surprised that Ben Simmons is shut down for the year, and then generally, are you just done with Ben Simmons? Is there any hope for him having a future in the NBA?
So I'm not going to join in on the hate train. I actually still really enjoy watching Ben Simmons play basketball. That being said, it said that they're looking for either a trade partner or maybe even a buyout candidate this offseason, but I don't know a team that's going to take his contract, given how it's pretty large. I don't know. Like, I don't want to give up on him because he was one of my favorite players coming into the league. And it's still fun to watch him play basketball, even if he's not dropping points. Like, he's still a good defender, great playmaker. But the injuries are just becoming a little too much. And I'm really hoping maybe it's just him saying, maybe they both decided that it was better for him to stay off the court. So they're like, you know what, let's go with this injury and then we'll work something out from here. But, yeah, it kind of just sucks to see, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely, I will continue to crack some jokes at his expense for my sins, unfortunately. But I don't root for anybody to be injured. I'd much rather see Ben Simmons playing than see him missing 157 games over the last 3 years. But It is what it is currently. So, James, what are your thoughts on that? Are you with Keebler? Do you think there's a chance for him if he's in the right situation, a new change of
Sucks.
scenery?
For one, I will say, like, I don't like people getting injured. I don't cheer for that. But remember when everybody was freaking out about an Instagram post this summer of him ball handling, and I was just eye rolling on this show the whole time?
It's part of the cycle.
It's
That's the
part of the
Ben.
cycle.
Yeah, that's the Ben Simmons summer.
He can't stay healthy. He can't stay on the court. He's not worth anything. He's going to get bought out. Like, nobody's taking that contract. I've seen this coming a million miles away, dude. Like, get him out. I don't care. Like, he means nothing to me. He's had no impact on the league in 4 years. I don't care. Period. Goodbye.
Ooh, James says, you better learn Chinese, buddy. That's
Yeah.
James.
Well, he won't be healthy. He won't even be able to play over there.
Ooh.
It's just the circle. The cycle's coming again. It'll be ball handling this summer.
There will be no doubt he'll hit a couple of wide open jumpers and an Instagram workout, do a couple of nice moves against some dudes like me, at the rec. And and then the hype train will get started. Now, I don't know. I never want to, I kind of fall somewhere in between you guys, I think, honestly, because I never want to completely write someone off. It is possible to have the comeback. And the potential is there. Like we have seen it. Like, it exists. It's on tape. Some of those good games that he had in the past. I don't know if this is like a Chuck Knobloch situation where he just has the yips and he'll never be able to get back to doing it in front of a large crowd. I have no idea, but I would love to see Ben Simmons get another chance. Unfortunately, at this point, I think he's going to need to end up at a poverty franchise a bit. Like, he kind of needs to go somewhere where no one cares and no one's going to pay attention and no one's going to report. I think he just needs to be able to avoid those distractions. Hell, if it weren't for how good Orlando's got it right now, there would have been a situation where I said, just send Ben Simmons to Orlando, man. Like, nobody's paying attention down there. He'll have plenty of time to get himself together. But that actually leads me, gentlemen, to our next subject, which is that magical run by Orlando. And James, I feel that I need to hand the microphone to you first because you were the one who's been calling this for a while. And for those who don't know, the Orlando's sitting currently 4th in the East. They have the easiest schedule left in the NBA. So when I was hinting earlier at a team that I thought maybe had home court advantage potentially locked in that we weren't expecting, it is the very Orlando Magic. James, tell the folks who don't know what they need to know.
Well, I predicted this. This was my prediction for this summer, that they were going to make a huge jump. Don't know if I saw this coming, but with them, it's the same thing. It's defense is doing it. 17 times this season, they've held an opponent under 100 points. That's 3rd in the league behind the John's Timberwolves, and Keebler's Knicks. The 4th best defense. They are good. And then there's your young and dudes. Paolo's averaging 22 and 9. Wagner's averaging 20. They got a billion guards that are playing. They're fun, man. And like you said, they've got an extremely forgiving schedule down the stretch. They are in 4th solely by a half a game over Keebler's Knicks, and they've got the easiest schedule the rest of the way. Now, they play the Knicks on Friday, Pacers Sunday. They got Brooklyn, Toronto back-to-back, Charlotte. Portland's on there. Charlotte again, Chicago, Houston. Like, they're fun, man. They're a little ahead of their time right now, but screw it.
I watched a 10-minute YouTube video today. That's thesis was Orlando has a big 3. So I'll share that link in Discord. I think you guys will enjoy watching it. But Keebler, you've got a dog in this fight, so to speak. The Magic are barely ahead of your soon-to-be healthy Knicks. So what do you have to say about all this? Is Orlando going to be legit? Are the Knicks going to have that home court spot? What do you think?
Please let us see the Magic in the playoffs. Please. I'm begging the basketball gods for it. They look good, but they've beat up on really bad teams. You can go back in their schedule, and I'm going to pull it up too so I don't misconstruct anything. But we're going to look at their schedule. So these are the teams they've beat, right? Wizards, Hornets, Pistons.
Very good teams. NBA teams, that's good.
Jazz, Nets, Pistons, Cavs. I mean, the Cavs are fine. They beat us, whatever. We weren't fully healthy, so I don't count it. Spurs, Pistons. So they're just beating up on really bad teams like they should be. Yeah, I think they're fraudulent. I think that if it were to come down to the Knicks getting the 4th seed and the Magic staying as the 5th seed, I would love to see them in the first round of the playoffs. We would sweep them, plain and simple. Orlando's one of the 5 stadiums that, even though the Knicks are playing an away game, it feels like a home game. So it's like, I don't know.
Okay, I like it. So he's got the Orlando Magic as a bit of a fraudulent squad there.
That's what Keebs is saying.
I would love. That's my dream first round matchup.
It really is. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a team that's ahead of schedule and one thing, and I have spouted this narrative time and time again. I'm a firm believer that, especially in the NBA, you see a lot of those teams that become dynasties or at least are in the championship mix several times. They have those deflating losses in the playoffs. Like they have that boogeyman that they need to defeat it. So it kind of fits this young Magic team's narrative too, that they would be ahead of schedule and then get beat in the first round by a team that's more seasoned and capable of taking care of things in the playoffs. So I can see that happening. And before I move on to our next topic, we've got one in here hot and ready from our resident Timberwolves fan. Bite Size Vike says, "Holy Christ, you guys missed a game. Ant-Man, show favorite. Cool 42 and the game-saving chase down block.
44,
I don't want to hear
John.
it.
Yeah, 44.
We're at 22.5 minutes. Yeah, fuck the Pacers. That's absolutely fucking pathetic. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Yes.
The Pacers lose.
Sorry, Kev, but your team's ass.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing you are, brother. Don't worry about it.
Unbelievable. You have so many chances. You have so many chances to put that game away, and you just keep
up 9.
Back into it. Get back into it, and it's just absolutely fucking awful.
Oh, I got to correct something from last episode. When I said the Pacers were contenders, I meant that they were contending for the bubble, for the play-in. They're play-in contenders, nothing more. It's fool's gold, damn it.
Anthony Edwards is him, though. I'll always say it.
I will
always stand on my take that if Jordan played in this era, that Anthony Edwards would be more talented. I'll always stand on that.
A lot of Jordan Ant comparisons. You keep seeing those.
I agree with the comparison. It's hard for me to buy in on Keebler's take. I was also a young kid living in a Chicago suburb. Even though I was a Pacers fan, I still experienced all that Jordan madness firsthand. So I cannot be objective. I look through that with some nostalgia tinted glasses, and it's hard for me to concede that. But Keebler might have a point. I don't know. Time will certainly tell, because on their trajectory, if you go back, what season is this for Anthony Edwards? 3, 4?
He was drafted in 2020, so that would be
yeah. You want to compare today Anthony Edwards to 4 seasons in Michael Jordan? Then I'm not arguing with Keebler at all. Now, we talk about, MJ in his prime. I'm going to say, okay, yeah, not yet personally. But
press X to doubt.
I'm pressing X to doubt on them both at their peak. But I think he's got room to grow into those shoes potentially.
Just so everyone knows, I just want to make it clear to the people watching at home that Michael Jordan's career wasn't only 6 seasons long. I know it's a common misconception, but
that is correct. That's why I was like, well, if we're looking at if we're comparing apples to apples, like outside of that one 62-point game against Boston, there's probably a lot of probably a lot to argue about early on Michael Jordan compared to this performance from Anthony Edwards. So I'll see. James, are you
Yes.
working on pulling up that clip potentially? Okay, I wanted to make sure I didn't
Yep.
no redundant efforts there. John in the chat says Dwayne Wade was a rookie at this age. Insane. That blows my mind.
All right, here we go.
He says, yeah, people forget the days when the rest of Jordan's roster was in hookers and blow mode off of the court. Yeah. Yeah, fun game. Name some of your favorite Michael Jordan teammates and check out how interesting that list gets after Scottie Pippen, Dennis
Luke
Rodman,
Longley.
Tony Kukoc, Steve Kerr. Yeah, it's sad that Luke Longley might be the fifth best teammate. Sorry, Keeper, what'd you say?
Artis Gilmore.
Artis Gilmore. Yeah, Bill Cartwright.
All right, here we go, boys.
Legend. I can't watch. This makes me sick.
Edwards can't hit the second. Pacers have a chance. Up ahead, Neesmith.
No, sir.
Goaltend.
Edwards getting up.
Goaltend.
He baits him right into that.
That's what I lost my fucking head off of. Are you fucking
Oh, he
kidding
gets
me?
fucking swallowed. He falls hard.
Up ahead, Neesmith. Blocked. Edwards
No
getting
foul.
up.
No foul.
Nope.
No goaltend.
I love those unis are sick.
Edwards.
No, it's
Can't
not.
I'm disgusted.
Pacers have a chance. Up ahead, Neesmith.
James is going to make me watch it 40 times, too.
He said, I've never jumped that high in my life.
Fucking kidding me? That's what I lose my bet off of.
Yeah, that's what you lose your bet off of, Keebs.
That is
Press X to
unfortunate.
doubt on the Pacers.
Well, you have to. I mean, I believe I said this before, but isn't this just the classic example of a team that just plays to the ability of their opponent? Here you have a game that they probably should win. Minnesota, undoubtedly a great team, but they're without Cat as the Pacers. You need to win this game, and of course you don't. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't come into this one as prepared as they needed to be, because it seems like sometimes they just come in and look a little flat. Although I will say, thank God Tyrese Halliburton has figured a few things out, because there was a stretch there after that injury. By the way, I should point out to some of my more irrational Pacers brethren that it's not always shocking for a dude to struggle while he's still dealing with a hamstring injury out there on the court. Not earth shattering there, but my God, dude, that I'm hurt. I'm in a glass case of emotion. So since we are talking about the goddamn Minnesota Timberwolves, boys, and their victory without one Catman, are you concerned at all at the idea that he's going to be out indefinitely? So Timberwolves are going to be in Nas Reed mode. So I know John's in the chat here, so we'll play it nice. But Keebler, I'll start with you. No Karl Anthony Towns, no problem for Minnesota?
I thought going into this game, it was going to be completely different. I thought since Cat was out, Anthony Edwards was going to garner a lot of defensive attention. What I didn't take into account is that the Pacers roster can't guard a traffic cone. So, that being said, I should have probably taken Ant over 30.5 points. That would have been a smart play, but I think against upper echelon teams, they're going to struggle. I can see them sliding down the standings a little bit when they play teams like the Clippers, like the Nuggets, you know what I'm saying? But I think against bad teams, they're more than fine. Or like mid teams.
Pacers.
Not to throw shade at any team that sold me by 2 points, but I think they should be fine. But if he's out for the playoffs, I can easily see them being a first and at most second round exit.
Oh, they might be primed for an early upset, especially if they fall out of that top seed. James, what do you think? Are you in agreement with Keebler here, or do you think that John is definitely not coping when he says never needed him? We will be back.
I'm gonna sneeze again. Just get ready. Can they survive out the regular season? Yes. Where I'm pulling up their record here, they're 44-19, so they're 63, and they've got 19 games left. Can they hold on to the 1 seed? No. Can they still finish top 4 and keep home court advantage? Yes. I mean, Anthony Edwards is going to walk on the court every game and most likely be the best player on the court. That's how it's going to work. He's going to have to be monstrous. Without Cat, they can't win at all. It's just the reality. I've torn my meniscus twice. So I know how this goes. They can either repair it, which would take time, like 2 months. They're not going to do it. Or they can, depending on what it is, they could snip it out and he can be back pretty quickly. It's long-term the worst thing to do. It ends up with knee replacements down the stretch. But if I'm trying to win a title, I'm getting that thing clipped and fixed. So they just said they're doing further evaluation to see whether an immediate procedure is required. That's what ESPN's saying, or if rehab options could help him return to the lineup. Not good, but I think they can survive it. I agree with Keebs. I do not think they can pull this off without him.
I tend to agree with you both. I think they're going to come up just short. Now, before I ask my next question, Keebler, James just said that given the choice, he would have it snipped and deal with the long-term consequences as they were. Keebler, would you do that as well? And do you think Cat is going to make that same choice, or is he going to go for his long-term health?
Well, they're still in the process of building, so it's really hard to justify a short-term procedure for a long-term consequence. You know what I'm saying? They weren't always this good. Even last year they were a play-in team. So it's just if I'm the health staff or if I'm Cat, because ultimately he's probably the one that makes the decision because it's his body. I would probably just play it safe and go repair. See what you can do. See what the team can do without him. And then next year, just go in fully healthy. Because they don't have many expiring contracts either. So they're basically running back the same roster, and whoever they decide to draft, maybe make a off-season trade or a free agent move. I would probably play it safe and just do the procedure.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I will play devil's advocate a little bit here with the other side of the argument and just say there is a lot of parity in this league right now, and there's no time like the present. A hillbilly saying I was taught growing up is a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush, which I never made sense to me because I've never caught a bird with my hands. So whichever works for you. But I do tend to be more big picture than short term. So I will almost always lean on the side of caution and say, go get healthy. I get the argument that you're playing with house money this year because no one expected you to be quite this good. But again, it's got to be in the back of your head that, well, we may never be this good again. But of course, you wouldn't.
There's no guarantee of next year, boys.
That is correct. And since we're still talking, go ahead.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Oh, this is blasphemy.
Oh, that's fine. Keebler does not want to give his take on TJ Warren, and that's okay.
I'll give it. Bubble legend. That's all I have to say.
Bubble legend. Yes, exactly. The bubble legend TJ Warren, according to Bite Size Vikes, got here just in time. Of course, the Pacers fan that I am, there we go. We'll sneak the flag into the shot. I have a special place in my heart.
You love that man.
Bubble TJ Warren. He was like Superman. James, what do you think? TJ Warren, a career 15-point per game guy, is he going to do anything to move the needle for Minnesota? Does this even help the depth issue that they have in their front court?
I'm looking. He hasn't really played much this year, right? pull him up.
Not to my knowledge, no. But he is, he's a 15-point guy pretty much everywhere he's been. I want to say he's around 6'8". So he's not the tallest guy. He's can play the 4 if you need him to. It's not maybe ideally where I would play him. He's not going to play the 5 anywhere, but I was told that Kyle Anderson's minutes were going to go up with Cat out. So I can't imagine TJ Warren might not eat into some of that.
He had 7 points tonight. He had, or did he? Maybe he didn't. Why is that on last year? He played? Yeah, he did.
He had 7 points in a game last year. No.
Yeah, I was like, no, he did. He had 7 points. It's his first game all fucking year. That's wild. 7 points.
I was going to say, I don't think he had played for anybody.
1 rebound, 3 for 5, 16 minutes. Do I think he moves the needle? No. Do I think he helps in the immediate situation they're dealing with? Yes, because there's a lot of minutes to be had with Cat out. So he can help him survive this. Is he a long-term mover? Is he a playoff mover? No, not in my opinion. No.
I don't know if I agree or disagree with you, James. Here's what I'll say. I will say this in the words of the former Celtics legend, one of the greatest Celtics coaches of all time, Rick Pitino. When it comes to TJ Warren, I have this to say. Larry Bird ain't walking through that door, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Robert Parrish
Correct.
Ain't walking through that door. What's walking through that door is a solid rotation guy who, on the right night when he's hot, could give you 24 points on a random good night. But I do think his best days are behind him, as much as it pains me to say. I think TJ Warren will be this is a good move in the sense that, they need another body out there.
It's perfect. It's perfect timing from that front. Do I think it does anything? No.
I tend to be with you there,
sir.
Keebler. I will swing it back to you before we move on in case you had any other thoughts on the bubble legend TJ Warren joining the Timberwolves.
I think that's just his legacy. Hasn't done too much outside of the bubble, but I don't know. Like John said, if TJ can give you 90% of Taurean Prince, then you're not going to hang up a banner in June, but you might make a little run.
I like that. While we're talking, last thing on TJ Warren, guys, a quick, easy question. We'll start with you, Keebler, because I think I know your answer. Bubble TJ or Lynn Sanity? Best short-term run.
I might get some flack for this answer. I'm gonna go with Bubble TJ Warren just because it came during a playoff run. Just because it came during a playoff run, and in my opinion, you don't have to agree with me, but a lot of NBA players hold the same opinion. I think the bubble was one of the hardest points in basketball of all time because you're only focusing on basketball. Everyone's eating, sleeping, breathing basketball. You can't go see your wife. She can't get in the bubble. You can't. So basically your entire life is wrapped around basketball. Everyone's competing. Everyone's trying to go for it. Mm-hmm. And then he snaps off of those performances. I think I'm going to give it to TJ Warren.
I like that analysis. It is well documented that the only NBA player that had a good time in the bubble was Jimmy Butler. So
with Rachel Nichols.
Oh, yep. Yeah. I was just talking about all that coffee he was selling, but he brings up a great point as well. James, same question for you. Lynn Sanity or Bubble TJ Warren? What's yours?
Give me Lynn Sanity. The Lynn Sanity run was so wild. Like, I'm not taking anything away from TJ Warren's bubble run. It just took over New York and the world for like a month, and then it was gone forever. One of just the weirdest things to ever happen. Give me Lynn Sanity, baby.
Of course, I have to go with Bubble TJ Warren. Now, my maybe honorable mention would have been that short little 2-month period that got Chandler Parsons a fat paycheck as one of the more ridiculous runs in the NBA. Of course, I got to go with Bubble TJ there, folks. So that takes me to our next Western Conference team that we're going to talk about. Another team that's been on the slide, much like my beloved Indiana Pacers, I kind of would like to go back on last week's take on the Dallas Mavericks, guys. They have not won a game against someone that's not the Toronto Raptors here in a minute. Been a bit of a struggle
right
over
now.
Before you say that, sorry to cut you off. Very sorry. Just a bit of betting advice to everyone. Take the Nuggets as home underdogs. They're both fully healthy, and the Nuggets have a much deeper team. They are underdogs. They are at home. The Celtics are fraudulent. I just threw $50 on the Nuggets. Ride the Nuggets tonight.
I agree.
And take the over 221.5.
I love that. No,
I'm
I'm
pop
glad
in
you
there,
did that,
Keith. I'm
especially
hopping
2
in.
minutes
I'm
before
hopping
10. I'm glad. Yeah, you guys get those bets in. While you do that, I'm just going to set the tone again. We talked about Dallas Mavericks being a contender. We talked about Luka being an MVP contender. Here's the argument that I heard the folks on the NBA tonight, the pregame show, make. You hear Kenny and Charles. They made this argument that Luka's stats are showing that he is doing too much. Oh, what up? Nick is in.
Hey!
What's up?
What's up?
Let's go. What are your takes on the Mavericks, bro?
We're about to get into the Mavericks and Luka.
Oh man, they turned it up tonight. They turned it up. I heard.
Yeah, they won tonight. Kev's argument that they haven't beat anybody except the Raptors is wrong because they're going to beat the Heat in about 8 seconds.
They're beating the Heat right now. Let's go. Okay.
Well, then they're going to win by 6.
You're right. He's right about everything, man. Let's go.
Nick and Nick. Luka with
right.
a casual 35, 11, and 11 triple-double.
Yeah,
boom. MVP.
Top 5 player of all time, but when it's all said and done.
I think you're going to be right there. He's fantastic.
Better than LeBron. The next LeBron. Well, shouts out to Nick. I don't know if he's coming back or not, but that was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
He's going to grab a chair.
Let's do it. I love it. So, okay, James, I'm going to pass you the mic. You were talking about Dallas, how wrong I was. What went down in the game tonight, and is that enough to get you back on the Dallas train?
Luka had 35, 11, and 11 on 24 shots. Kyrie had 23. Jimmy was he only had 14 tonight. Scary Terry Rozier had 27. Keeb's your favorite player ever. Duncan Robinson had 19.
Sheen from Jimmy Neutron.
Yes. PJ 10 and 8.
Kyrie wasn't 25, he had 23.
Yeah, 23 on 19 shots. Oh, Dante Exum sighting, 13 points. I'm not going to back down from a Mavericks led or Luka led Mavericks team ever. Like, I'm not going to jump off that bandwagon. Yeah. Get him to the playoffs. We've seen what he can do when he's in the playoffs.
I don't know if it's been renowned on this show, but the Mavs are my second favorite team because of my grandpa.
I didn't know that, huh?
So, seeing that type of success against the Heat, who are 11-3 over their last 14,
yes, it's a big win.
Makes me feel really, really good about them in the West.
Yeah. Now they might be a play-in team just because the West is so fucking loaded.
If they can get their defense together, because Nick and I were watching.
Yeah.
They were ball watching almost the entire first quarter.
Kyrie Irving's ball watching. That's not real. Stop that.
Well, Luka was doing it too, though.
Luka's no better. Yeah, he ball watches too. They're so bad defensively.
In the corner, and then who was it? Terry Rozier or something just went backdoor on him, and he just stood there, and it was like he just left the back door wide open.
He's like, well, what's going on?
Even the announcers were like, "Oh yeah, Luka's ball watching."
Yeah,
right
he
now.
said it himself.
Yeah.
The announcer said it. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's their Achilles. I mean, they're giving up 118 points a game this year. That's not.
And
that's easily the worst of the top 10 teams in the West.
I think they're giving up 128 a game over their last 7, 8.
Yeah, like that's what'll get them. It won't be like Luka can take them he could take them all the way to the top, but their defense is no bueno.
Yeah. I do like the additions of PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford.
I did too. I was a big fan of those. Yep, I agree.
But they just have to start meshing well.
Yeah,
And I
they
think
had 22 and 15 between them tonight. Those two.
The thing about the NBA is I don't see like a finals game being like 141, 134. You know, like
Yeah, I agree.
have to get some stops at some point if you're gonna
Mhm.
go far. So like
Yeah,
they're cool.
I would agree.
Yeah, it's like the Miami Dolphins kind of like, they score so many points, but then they don't when it really matters. So it's like,
Yep, they can't get no stops. So
That's right.
I agree with that take 100%.
Yeah, same. Everything tightens up. Like the deeper into the playoffs, the tighter it gets. And yeah, so you've got to be able to grind out some of those. And I wonder, I don't know. I'm very cautious when it comes to Dallas right now. I kind of wish I could just hit the reset button on all of last week's takes when it comes to me, but what
Yep.
can we do there? Hey, any other scores around the league for us to check on? I know
I don't.
Nuggets are starting in about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Um,
Suns are up on the Raptors, but nobody's stunned there.
Yeah, I might take the Suns live spread, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is, but I'll probably
They're up
take
14 right now. Bulls, Warriors, Spurs game's about to start.
Grayson Allen has 26 at the half.
Jesus.
Rare Grayson Allen legacy.
Yeah, who knew that these players on their team?
Holy shit.
Their live spread is 15.5, and I don't see them losing the second half. So I might.
I think they're gonna blow them out.
Grayson Allen's
No Devin Booker tonight.
the only shots he's taken have been threes. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Oh, another that we missed this one by 1 day. So 6 days ago, guys, Mike Muscala re-signed with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So big move there. Big depth piece added.
That needle moved.
Oh, I'm about to pull up the scores because we've hit through all of the topics on our run of show. So now's a great time, guys, for those of you watching in the chat. Fire away with any questions that you have. Shout out to everybody on Twitter. I don't know how or why, but we're getting a lot more Twitter viewers recently. So
tons of them. Love it.
We can see you, by the way. So if you leave us a tweet, we'll be able to see that and pull that up on screen as well. So fire away.
No.
Nick.
Go
go ahead. Sorry, James. You got something?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Nick, since you joined us, what do you got, brother? Any hot take, anything you want to say? We already touched on the Timberwolves, the Orlando Magic, Boston and Denver tonight, and Miami. Any kind of free microphone, open mic for you for a second? Any takes you got on any of that?
Okay.
Who you got tonight, Celtics or Nuggets?
Well, you already told me the Nuggets are going to blow them out. So I mean, you're right most of the time. So I mean, I'm thinking Denver tonight. I've been noticing in Houston though, like Sengun is a freaking star. Like that guy.
He's gonna be awesome.
Ever since he started to grow his name out there, and now he just had he had 23, 19, and 14 last night.
Yeah.
I'm going to start watching him a lot more closely. I think they have something there with him, Van Fleet. As Keith said, they play a lot better at home as well. So I'm definitely watching Houston. As for the other teams we've been talking about, that's a good win for Minnie tonight. I know John's happy about that. Obviously losing Karl Anthony Towns is big, but if Anthony Edwards is going to have 44, that's the thing is. If he's gonna need to have that to beat Indiana by 2, I don't see that working long term. But that's a good win tonight. But it's gonna be tough without Cat. Hopefully he's back in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm actually looking. I think what did John had something to say about this. I know he did. He said, "Okay, finally we can unleash our full potential." Naz Reid with a demon emoji.
Yeah.
He said, when Naz has shared the floor with Rudy this season, the defensive rating has been the best in the league. And then, of course, he had to add, not that the Wolves don't also have the best overall defensive rating, with a nice little wink emoji. The emoji of a guy puking was missing, though. I don't know. He might have forgotten that one. But so there you got Naz Reid might unlock a little something there for Minnesota without Cat, but I don't know. It's going to be a tough one, I think. James, you had said something earlier, and I kind of cut you off. What did you have something you wanted to jump to?
No, I can talk the MVC tournament real quick when we get a shot, since I'm going down there tomorrow.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that. What else we got? Any other scores around the league we want to check on? We're pretty much we're in the this is free time now.
Ooh,
This is free play.
this one's tough right there.
Ooh, Clayton, what up? Shout out to Hot Take Sports, by the way. Give them a follow. Go ahead and subscribe to them on YouTube. Clayton Scalina is going to be calling all those fights on Saturday without me. I'm going to Cavs Wolves tomorrow in Cleveland. No Cat Mobley or Mitchell. Dang. Well, the good news is you should be able to sneak down to a good seat.
That just sucks. Like I feel bad. Like if you bought the tickets before the season started, expecting to see all these guys, now they all just have like torn asses. Like crazy.
Did you guys know Travis Kelce was a Cavs fan? I didn't know that.
I did not know that, actually.
No.
Not to bring Travis Kelce into this show. I'm sorry.
Thanks, bud.
We can add his name as a hashtag in the description now.
Him and Jason were at the game that they came back against the Celtics, and he was just like, "Hey, Cavs fans, we're ready for the playoffs."
Yeah, of course. Like once they're good, of course he is. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Didn't really see much of you in those pre-LeBron Kyrie days, but whatever.
Yeah. Where's your Mark Price throwback jersey? I'm not seeing it. But yeah, with Clayton's whole situation, I guess, and it's no consolation at all. But at least they're not resting for load management. That would piss me off.
Yeah,
these are ones where it's just sort of it's the luck of the draw, bad luck there. But that would really piss me off when if I bought a ticket and it's like, oh yeah, great. No one's going to be playing in this game. Love that. But don't worry, guys. The new MVP regulations, that's really gonna fix it. Everybody's gonna play more games so they can win the MVP. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, let's force Embiid to go on a torn meniscus just so he can win an award that he's finally deserving of. But
yeah, but he won it last year, right?
He won it last year,
but
it should have been Jokic's. This year he actually deserved it, and then he gets fucking hurt. So
correct. I actually agree with Keebler on those statements.
Absolutely cannot win. Well, James, I think now would be a good time because we have a little bit of a change of pace here as we get deeper into March and the first weeks of April.
March Madness, baby.
Mainly an NBA program, but we do love college hoops. James and I have a background in it. I used to write. This would be my first year in a long time not covering the NCAA tournament for Last Word on Sports because I'll be doing it for us. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But James is going to be at where kind of it all starts out with these conference tournaments. Yep. So why don't you walk us through where you'll be this weekend, brother?
I will be in St. Louis this weekend as I zoom this in for what is affectionately known as Arch Madness because the St. Louis Arch. But you get it? It's funny.
Okay. Boo St. Louis.
Going down tomorrow. My Sycamores right here, the #1 seed with guys I recruited. I'm going to go cheer them on as they win the whole thing. They face Missouri State. The Fighting Dana Fords won tonight. Belmont won tonight. Evansville upset Illinois State. That's awkward for them. And UICS Southern's going on right now. So get ready for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to win. Take him to the tournament this weekend. Their biggest opponent is right there, #2 Drake. Drake's really good. Could also get an at-large in the tournament. So I will be down there my goal is by 9:30 in the morning. I will have cracked a beer, and then you guys will not. When you hear from me, just know it's 75,000 beers deep, and God only knows what I'm going to be saying.
I thought Drake was a
rapper. Drake is a rapper. However, Drake's basketball team is very good in Iowa, and Iowa sucks though. So fuck Iowa.
Are they
go trees?
Do you think they'll make the
That's
tournament?
Right.
If Indiana State and Drake play in the title game, I think the best chance the Valley has to get 2 teams in is if Indiana State loses a close game. They got a better net ranking. They're top 30 in the net. Drake's top 40, and I could see Drake. I think they both should be in, but the tournament's so fucking – the committees just – they lean towards the 8 and 12 IU teams all the fucking time, and I just think Drake will get fucked if they don't win the whole thing. I think Indiana State could get in, but Drake's got a big non-conference win which helps, but we'll see. So they need to get to Sunday. We'll go from there.
We had
So that's
Roberts. We had Oral Roberts, St. Pete, and we had Loyola Chicago in the last few years. As some
those are fun.
Miracle runs. Do you guys see anything like that this season?
Last year, FAU.
Oh, it's gonna happen. I don't know who's gonna do it. Give me.
Baby.
They should give us all the mid-major teams. Nobody wants a 500 high major team. Like fuck them, they suck. Give us all the 28-3 mid-major teams across the world. Bring them all in. Like we want madness and we want stuff like that. There will be a Cinderella run. I don't know who it's going to be, but give it to us. Screw all those big school teams. Nobody likes you guys. Just leave us alone. Stop trying to ruin March Madness. We know what it is.
More mid-major.
You know how to win, like you know how to win games.
Yes.
And when it comes to just because you're a bigger school and play better teams, if you're losing games, like if you're 28-3,
what do you want me to do? You suck. It's not my fault.
They're gonna go into that tournament with 28, 29 wins. They're gonna be able to freaking pull out some wins because that's what they do.
If you don't want the 29-3 team in there, you should have played them in the non-conference instead of playing freaking a D17 school and winning by 4. Indiana.
It's always these miracle Cinderella teams that win, and people are like, oh, how'd they win?
Yeah.
They were 28-3.
They're good. They weren't just because you didn't know they fucking existed didn't mean they weren't good. Man. Because FAU last year.
The talent discrepancy is not nearly the same as, like, say, college football. There aren't 80 players on every Division I team.
5 guys on the court at all time, man.
There are plenty of dudes playing at these smaller schools that could get work, that could absolutely might be starting at a more blue chip program. But you know what? They didn't hear the right things in recruiting, or there was a really talented guy, an NBA quality guy a year ahead of them, and they didn't want to spend that time on the bench. So guess what? They go somewhere local. There's not that same differential, I think, in the talent. There's not that same gap. So I'm all about that too. Get those mid majors in there. I'd much rather see. I don't care who you beat. If you won 29 games, like Nick was saying, chances are you've come from behind. You've held big leads. You've overcome a lot. Like, you're primed for going and playing in the tournament. I want to see more of that stuff. So I think at this point, the real question is, are we going to get another 16 to upset a 1? Because now, like, nothing is off the table anymore. We used to have a few things where you could say, all right, well, that will never happen. But I don't think any of the top seeds are that susceptible to it this year. But we will see. And we'll be talking about it all on the 18th. Is that right, James? Are we doing we're
going to do a March Madness preview show on that should be March 18th, I believe. I think that sounds right. The Monday before it all begins. So, we will be we're going to be doing it.
I love.
I'll be shunning the Dukies the whole time.
Hey! I'm a nice person, but
I did not you, Keebler. Trevor. This is specifically Trevor slander. Like, fuck Trevor.
Oh, okay.
Like, let me take that. Just fuck Trevor. Like the Chiefs. Fuck Trevor. He's on vacation right now. He's not watching. Get him. Get your shots in now. He'll miss them.
Yeah, no, Duke. It's gonna either Duke or UConn is winning the tournament this year.
UConn is so fucking good.
I know.
UConn is really good.
Is it possible for a final to be UConn Duke?
Could be, just depending on wherever the tournament, if they land on opposite sides of the bracket.
Very possible. So I wouldn't, and if they do end up on opposite ends of the bracket, that might be what you see on mine when it's all said and done. Now, guys, I have one last NBA question for you before we send them home. So once again, to everyone watching at home, thank you. Get your questions in for us now. If you've got any more takes you want or any betting advice for the weekend, get it in now, because the last question I have for you guys, looking at the scoreboard last night, you may have seen the Golden State Warriors snapped Milwaukee's 6-game winning streak to the tune of a 125-90 beat down. So two questions for you. Answer them at your leisure, however you want. Are you worried about the Bucks, and do you think the Warriors have a real shot at making a playoff run? We'll start with you, Keebler.
The Warriors don't really have a shot at making a playoff run, even though their rookies have been playing exceptionally well. Kuminga's not a rookie, right? He's second year.
No, yeah, he's not a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been playing fantastic too. I mean, I've been saying it the whole time. I don't really think the Bucks are a constructed well enough team to go back to the finals like they were. What was it? 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just feel like they're really lacking defense. Pat Bev has put a spark in them though, which I have liked to see, as of recently. But I forget what what analyst said it, but he was basically like, no one's scared of Milwaukee because they're like not athletic enough and like they don't play good enough defense. So I tend to agree with that. As a Knicks fan, I wouldn't be scared to see them in the playoffs. I think that we have the tools well enough to beat them. I think the Celtics have enough to beat them. I think the Heat have enough to beat them.
Did it last year.
Yeah. So I don't see them making a deep run, but at the same time, the Warriors are catching fire now, hopefully, after a 35-point Bucks win after losing by 52 to the fucking Celtics. But I can see them getting out of the play-in, but I don't see them really making a deep playoff run.
That is fair. I like that assessment. We'll stay on that part of the screen. Nick, what about you? Any thoughts on the Warriors being a potential threat, or are the Bucks in jeopardy?
Okay, so my thoughts are, after listening to him talk and spew his whatever,
Venom. They call that venom.
I think the Bucks. I agree with that part. I don't think they're as feared. I don't think anybody fears the deer. Like I used to be so scared of them. I used to be like, I do not want to play Milwaukee. I feel like when we play in Milwaukee, we lose by 20 plus every time. And obviously the Knicks weren't good at that time. So like I just felt like everybody went in there and just lost by 20. Now it's like they're kind of weak. The Doc Rivers doesn't really look like he cares too much. Like he's over the hill, you know. And there's other coaches in the league, you know, Tibbs, that he's also over the hill, but it just feels like he has more fire and desire. Doc has just come into the situation, and it's just like, I don't think he understands his players. I think that he understood them a lot better in Philly, back in LA with his Clipper days, and obviously Boston. I don't really see him understanding the philosophy of Milwaukee right now. And even though they just went on that huge tear, and they have Dame and Giannis and obviously, you know, Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez, they have all these players. I think this season they are not a huge threat. I think that, as he said, like Miami, even the Knicks, and I still think Boston's coming out of the East. They're just too good. So considering all that, I don't think Milwaukee's too much of a threat. And you lose by 35 to a team that just lost by 52. Like, and that team that they lost, like, they're 52. Like, that's the team that you're gonna have to beat. Like, I don't know. On the other side of the spectrum, like the Warriors have that championship DNA, and like when, you know, when they come into a hostile environment like the Garden this year, like just a couple of days ago, and they win that game like handily, that shows that they still have that championship DNA, man. Like, and they've beaten good teams already this season. They beat the Bucks now. They were close. I think they beat the Kings a few times, and like they were close with Denver. Like, I think the Warriors have a chance, and if you like, it's one of those teams where it's like, don't let them get out of the play-in, like, because now, like, it's even whatever their seed is, like, it's kind of reminds me of like those Brady teams, like that Bucks team. Like, you don't want to let them get in. Now they're in. Now they're playing Washington. All of a sudden, they rack up all these wins, and they're in the Super Bowl and they win it. Like, I think that's a team that like you want to keep out. And if you don't, like, watch out, because, you know, Steph's the greatest shooter of all time, and you never know with these guys. They've won so many championships together and won so many games that you really don't know, and that's the scary part. You know, these younger teams should be afraid of them.
I like that. You know, they are definitely still a team that has enough guys on there that can win some games. So, James, as I pass this to you, I want to point out that last night the Milwaukee Bucks bench scored 30 points. 20 of those were scored by Bobby Portis. So anyway, maybe you want to talk about their depth. Maybe you don't. But same two questions for you. Are you worried about Milwaukee's future? Do you think the Warriors are, as Nick put it, a team that no one would that still be a tough out in the playoffs? Or what are your thoughts after that game?
The Bucks have Doc Rivers as their head coach, right?
They do.
That for now they haven't paid.
Yeah,
a
I'm
fourth one
fucking.
yet.
Yeah, I'm fucking worried. That's it. That's the comment. They have Doc Rivers. I don't believe in him at all. The Warriors, Kuminga's emergence intrigues me a little bit. It gives them a second scoring punch with moving Clay to the bench and him coming on. I kind of agree with Nick. Like, if they get out of the play-in, which I think they will, then I'm all bets are off. You know, like they took down the Kings last year, but do I think they can take down the Nuggets, the Thunder, Clippers, healthy Wolves? I don't think so. No.
I think they can take down the Thunder.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's a team that's young that should be afraid of a team like that. You know what I mean?
Then I don't agree with you.
Even though, even though like they're undisputably better, like in every facet of basketball, you never know when you like go to.
Do I think they can take down a top 4 in the West? No, there's my answer. So
yeah. No, I don't think.
Okay.
You did. I really just contradicted. I said I agreed with you, and then completely 100% just said nah.
I agree with you, except fundamentally.
I agree with you, except fundamentally. Like.
Oh, this one's a tough one. I am absolutely worried about the Bucks. I wonder how many coaches they will end up paying at one time. I have been anti the Doc Rivers experience or experiment for quite some time at this point. I mean, there's no better sign than a guy saying, well, yeah, I told him, are you sure you can't just wait till the All-Star break? I mean, this is a really tough time to be a head coach right now. That anybody else in any workforce in America, you go in and that's what you say in your job interview, you're not getting that fucking job. Why did he get this job?
Yeah, if I went into this job interview and I was like, yeah, let's wait like a month.
Kind of like a
like, I'm not ready right now. It's like I'd rather like wait till can we go after spring break? Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Yeah, not really, but I will be able to at some point.
It reminded me something out of that episode of The Office when they tried to replace Steve Carell and they had all those hilariously bad job interviews, like Doc Rivers. It was like, you guys compensate travel, right? I'm looking to live out of the city. I don't actually like Milwaukee. I'm going to fly in for every game.
That was so funny. I love that.
Why the hell is Doc Rivers the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks? I'm very concerned. Again, sorry for the folks that have heard this before. We got a lot of new listeners tonight. When the reason that you fired Mike Budenholzer was that he got out-coached in a playoffs series against Eric Spoelstra, he was unable to make the in-game and game-to-game changes that you felt were necessary. You go and replace him with Doc Rivers, whose biggest Achilles heel probably is the fact that he can't make changes game-to-game or in-game. What the hell are you talking about? Like, what are we doing here? You cannot just throw money at this problem. The Bucks are toast, in my opinion. I will concede with you guys when it comes to the Warriors. I think they're a tough out for anybody if the Warriors are in a best of 7 series. It's really hard for me to say with certainty that I think they'll lose it. I do think that Steph, he's just one of those guys to me. He's kind of earned that LeBron, Tom Brady sort of benefit of the doubt, where it's like I just can't. I might be 99% sure that they'll lose, but I'll never be like, oh yeah, no way. No chance. Steph Curry has no chance in this playoff series. I just can't be that guy. All right, fellas. Well, that will do it for us tonight. It's time for the farewell segment, the where can we find you? We'll start back up at the top right. We'll start with you, Nick. Thank you for hopping in. This has been a lot of fun having you join us here. You're welcome anytime, by the way, to come talk hoops with us.
Just walk in. If you hear teams talking, just walk in.
Yeah. So where can the folks at home find you?
Yeah, like it's obviously more of a football game, but like Instagram at Buffalo Times. It's kind of. It was quiet for the Bills before, but now it's really freaking loud. So definitely tune in. Like we got a lot to talk about it up in Buffalo. So that account is on Instagram, and then dude, like nothing else. Just I guess this. Fuck it. Like
Yeah.
tune into the Dallas, baby. Let's go every Thursday.
And if we start dual posting again on Instagram, then
Nick stop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So not to cut you off. That's where you can find me too, right here. So
Boom, at the Nick Stop on Twitter. It's always Twitter to me and Instagram. James, what about you? Where can they find you before you are off in the tournament world for the weekend?
Yeah. If you're in St. Louis, hit me up. You can catch me and Kev talking Star Wars every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on our sister station Dweeb. Then all of us will be back here every Thursday at 9 talking NBA. There we'll have our March Madness show March 18th. I don't know what the time is going to be yet, so we'll all be on there. So like, subscribe, all fun stuff. Keep supporting us, folks. We see all you. There's a lot of Twitter people out there tonight. We appreciate you.
That is absolutely right. We do appreciate it greatly. You can find me on the Clout Route Tuesdays and Sundays, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. I think we'll probably be talking about Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson. That's probably what we'll be talking about there. You can also find me on Wednesday nights hanging out with James on the Dweeb. I also will be on our Carnage Unleashed podcast that you can find right here on Bite Size Sports and Carnage Media, where we interview upcoming fighters for our pay-per-views that weekend, review the previous weekend's pay-per-view, talk about UFC, PFL, the WWE, AEW, any of that stuff. We talk about it, so go ahead and find me there. And this Saturday, I'll be calling all the action for the Ohio Extreme of Major League Indoor Soccer, so be sure to tune in MLIS.com. And, of course, thank you all so much. We want to see you here Thursdays, 9 p.m. at the Bounce, Bite Size Sports. We really appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight, and this is a farewell word from our sponsors. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace, man. Peace.
Sports.
Are you looking for an energy boost without the jitters? Let our friends at Dubby Energy help you with their fantastic selection of flavors. Just visit www.dubby.gg and use the code BITESIZESPORTS at checkout for 10% off your order total. Again, that is www.dubby.gg. Code BITESIZE.